Listen to this because this is important. And I don't say that lightly. The Federal Reserve just announced that they're printing 40 billion of brand new money every single month. Not just once, not temporarily, but on an ongoing monthly basis. And if you're receiving Social Security, retirement, disability, survivor benefits, SSI, this directly affects you, even if it doesn't sound like it at first. So today I want to slow this down, explain it clearly, and connect the dots in a way almost nobody else is doing. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. And let's get into why this matters for people on Social Security. So here's the thing, most people already know, but don't fully think it through. Social Security is fixed income. So what that means is that you're going to receive a set monthly benefit for your Social Security. And you can't negotiate it like a raise. You can't work overtime to be able to offset higher costs, maybe in your living expenses. And you only get one adjustment per year. And that adjustment is what is called the COLA, also known as the cost of living adjustment. So for 2026, that COLA is 2.8%. So on paper, that sounds okay, but in real life, it's a very different story. So what money printing actually does in absolutely plain English, right? So let's keep this simple. Money printing does not create wealth, right? It spreads the wealth across more dollars. So here's an easy way to picture this. So I want you to imagine, let's say there's 100 movie tickets available and there's 1,000 total dollars in the economy. Now suddenly the government prints another 1,000. Do we get more movies? Do we get more theaters? Do we get more seats in that scenario? The answer is no. We just got more dollars chasing the same stuff. So because of that, the ticket prices are going to rise, and that's what we call inflation. And when inflation happens, your dollars buy less, even though the number on your check stays the same. And why retirees feel inflation harder than anyone else is a really important and crucial concept to understand, because inflation hurts everyone, but it hits retirees first and it hits them the hardest. Why is that? Because workers can sometimes ask for raises. They could be able to switch jobs. They could potentially be able to work more hours if they have overtime. Businesses, as a business owner, you could be able to raise your prices. You could be able to cut your costs. You could be able to adjust your strategy. Investors, they're able to reposition their assets and be able to invest in different things. They're able to adjust their income sources. But if you are relying solely on Social Security benefits, you only get really one opportunity to be able to get more money, and that is what is known as that cost of living adjustment. And it's based on old data, honestly. So after prices are already up, that delay alone creates a permanent damage to people who are relying on these benefits. So we already lived through this, right? Recently, let's just rewind a few years back, all right? So in 2020 and 2021, the government printed over $6 trillion, all right? And at first, it felt okay. People got their stimulus checks, the market went up, everything seemed fine on the surface, but then things start to really surface and things started to hit, and inflation exploded. So by June 2022, inflation peaked at 9.1%. And here's the part that nobody likes to admit. Prices never came back down after that. They just stopped rising as quickly. So groceries stayed expensive, insurance stayed expensive, utilities stayed expensive. Social Security checks never fully caught up to that inflation amount. And why that happens is because COLA is always falls short of that. So here's what most people don't realize. Like, COLA is based on CPIW, all right? Not on what retirees actually spend on, right? So what that means is that healthcare costs are underweighted. So housing costs, they're also distorted. Real life senior expenses are minimized. So even when inflation is high, COLAs often understate in reality, right? It's usually less than what it's supposed to be. And this is why many retirees have lost thousands of dollars per year in purchasing power over time. And then there is the Medicare Part B problem. And with that, It's almost like a silent killer for COLA. So the Medicare Part B, for most beneficiaries, Part B premiums are deducted before you even see your Social Security payment. And so what happens now is this, right? So when COLA goes up by 2.8%, Medicare premiums rise faster, right? So your raise essentially just disappears, sometimes completely. And that's why so many people say, my Social Security went up, but my check didn't. And they're telling the truth. And it's that dynamic alone which wipes out millions of dollars in retirement income every single year. And why the feds are printing money, it makes things a lot worse. So just to bring this all together, right? So the feds print about $40 billion per month, right? So that increases the money supply. Because of that, now it pushes prices higher over time. It reduces purchasing power, but Social Security is just once per year based on past inflation. So with Medicare deductions applied first. So the system is always going to be behind. And here's the important thing. The Fed never prints money for a short period of time. Historically, once it starts, it lasts for many, many years, which means that pressure doesn't go away in 2026. It's actually going to build. So this is not a fear tactic, right? This is just preparation and to give you a warning, right? And let me be very clear, right? This is not a panic video. Social Security is not disappearing tomorrow, but ignoring inflation risk is dangerous. Smart retirees don't rely just on COLAs alone. They understand how tax affects the benefits. So they watch their Medicare premiums changes. They plan for purchasing power loss. They adjust spending and income strategy early on, because once inflation eats away your budget, it's really hard to reverse. So I want you to remember this. The simple truth is this. You may receive the same number of dollars every month, but just understand that those dollars buy less and less as time goes on. So money printing accelerates that process. COLAs slow it down, but they do not completely stop it. And that is the harsh reality that a lot of people are not talking about. So hopefully this was informative for you and you got some value with this. One of the things that you need to understand is that knowledge is power. And by being able to gain more knowledge on this information and being able to stay up to date on this information, you could be able to get ahead, right? And that's going to be one of the key differentiators, especially in this upcoming year, right? Despite what's going on in the economy, despite what's going on with the world and all these different policy changes, the more information that you can get, the more proactive you could be. And the more proactive you could be, that is going to allow you to be able to pivot in times where you need to pivot. And one of the best things that you could do is making sure that you're staying up to date with this information and you're going ahead and subscribing here. I will make sure I update you with more information as it comes through. But I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. And if you're looking to learn more about how to save money on taxes, I'm actually giving you access to a free ebook. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. And I'll see you there. Take care.